Welcome to the Kyber Crystal Lounge, a place for all things Star Wars. Over the past couple of weeks, I have had a little bit of free time and decided that it would be best put to use rewatching the animated series Star Wars Rebels. It was the first time going back to this series since its initial run on television, and I have to say that upon a second viewing, this show is just as fantastic as I remember and brings a lot to the Star Wars canon. I want to start with a brief overview of how the show came to be. In October 2012, Disney purchased Lucasfilm and acquired the Star Wars franchise. While this has been divisive among certain members of the fan base, the fact was a new era of Star Wars was beginning to emerge. 6 months after the acquisition, the House of Mouse decided to cancel the hit animated series Star Wars The Clone Wars.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
But it also came with the announcement that there was going to be a new animated series to replace it. And in October of 2014, Star Wars Rebels debuted on Disney XD. It was the first project in the new Disney canon and would be the first story not to rely on the Skywalker name or legacy. Set roughly about 5 years before A New Hope, Star Wars Rebels is about a rebel cell known as Phoenix Squadron, and they are comprised of the core characters of the series. A Lasat Garazeb Aurelios, aka Zeb, the Mandalorian Sabine Wren, a C-1 astromech nicknamed Chopper, Kanan Jarrus, and their leader, Twi'lek ace pilot Harrison Duda. And their mission is to make life difficult for the Empire and help the citizens of Lothal. While on a mission to Lothal, this ragtag collection of freedom fighters comes across an orphan boy, Ezra Bridger, who was looking for an easy score and trying to do whatever he can to survive under the Empire's harsh rule. Pretty soon, the mission goes off the rails, and Ezra finds himself on board the starship, the Ghost, and helping them complete their mission to rescue a group of Wookiees that have been taken as slaves by the Empire. When things go from bad to worse, it is revealed that Kanan was a Jedi Padawan that survived Order 66, and, as it turns out, Ezra is strong with the Force. Once the dust is settled and the Wookiees have been freed, Kanan offers his limited expertise to teach Ezra the ways of the Jedi. Ezra accepts and he joins the crew, and that's when things start to get a little bit tricky. During the mission, when it is revealed that there is a surviving Jedi among the rebels, Jedi hunters known as Inquisitors are dispatched. One of the main antagonists of the first season is the Grand Inquisitor, who just happens to be Darth Vader's second-in-command when it comes to hunting Jedi. The series turns into a game of cat and mouse as the crew of the Ghost is hunted by the Empire and the Inquisitors. I have to say that I love the concept of the Inquisitors. They are fallen Jedi and tortured Force users that have been corrupted and turned to the dark side. Skilled in lightsaber combat and armed with some of the coolest lightsabers in all of Star Wars, the Inquisitors are formidable and deadly and pose a threat to any Jedi that have survived Order 66. Over the course of the series, Phoenix Squadron continues to fight back against the Empire while trying to stay one step ahead. Eventually, they are put into contact with other rebel cells, and the Rebel Alliance begins to take shape. New allies are recruited, and some familiar faces such as Ahsoka Tano and Captain Rex are brought in to help the cause. Fans that are familiar with Ahsoka and Rex will be glad to see the character arcs that play out. Having witnessed the death of his master at the hands of the clone soldiers, there's a deep mistrust from Kanan, and it takes the better part of a few episodes before he is fully willing to accept help from the clone. Ahsoka goes through an emotional journey herself when she learns that her former master, Anakin Skywalker, has turned to the dark side and is the Sith Lord that hunted down and destroyed the Jedi Order and is now hunting the rebels. Tensions come to a head in the Season 2 finale, Twilight of the Apprentice, when Ahsoka faces off with Vader in an epic and emotional lightsaber duel. Another fan favorite that appears throughout the series and makes his debut in the same episode is Darth Maul, who just so happens to be looking for the same Sith holocron that our heroes are. I will cover this episode arc in depth in a future video, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. Rebels also does something else that fans have always wanted, and brings Grand Admiral Thrawn to the screen. Thrawn was deemed to be part of the Legends continuity after Disney took control, but was resurrected and brought into the canon for seasons 3 and 4 of the show as the series' main villain. Thrawn brings an intensity to the show and steals every scene he's in. He quickly became one of my favorite villains of the entire series, and there is no doubt in my mind that we will see him again down the road, especially after being name-dropped by Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. Another truly emotional moment for Rebels that I will be covering in great detail, but is still worth mentioning here, is when Darth Maul meets his end at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi. This scene alone makes Star Wars Rebels a must-watch. It's beautifully crafted from start to end, and every moment and movement that the characters make is setting the stage for what is about to happen. As a fan of the Clone Wars and seeing Maul get fleshed out and not being just a one-dimensional antagonist, this was truly a bittersweet end to the character. Overall, I would suggest Rebels to any Star Wars fan. It is a fun journey with great characters that the entire family will enjoy. The series introduces new aspects of the Force that we have never seen before and get used later on in the franchise during the sequel trilogy. With the release of Kenobi later this week, and the Inquisitors being a big part of that series, Rebels is still having a reaching effect even these years later. What do you guys think of Rebels? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. I would also really appreciate it if you would leave a like on the video to help grow the channel. I want to do more stuff, so subscribe if you want more Star Wars Rebels related content. May the Force be with you, and thank you for stopping by the Kyber Crystal Lounge.